Hey guys, and welcome to the third episode of my client's journey series on YouTube. Today we're going to be speaking about one of my clients who's been with me for a long time. Her name is Davinia. So Davinia came to me wanting to grow some juicy glutes. She wanted to slim down a little bit, just feel a bit more confident in the gym, and mainly to kind of manage her food, kind of heal her relationship with food a little bit as well, because she didn't really know what she was meant to be eating, what she should or shouldn't be. She was very kind of, I wouldn't say confused in the gym, but she kind of said, I don't really know what I'm meant to be following in regards to a plan. I don't know whether there's certain exercises I should be doing or shouldn't be doing, but I just need a little bit of help and guidance. I was like, cool, we can do that. So when it came to Davinia's lifestyle, she's a part-time beautician and a part-time shop girl. So she does day shifts in a Superdrug, and then she also does nightly work on a weekend, traveling up to different places, basically doing agency work as a shop girl. So her lifestyle is a little bit crazy, a little bit all over the place. So trying to manage her training, her energy, her food timings, all that kind of stuff was going to be a challenge. But she was completely up for the journey, and she was like, right, just help me. Let's see what we can do. So in addition to that, she was also doing a beauty qualification. So she's a busy girl. So what we did, we took her into a 15-week diet phase. So it was pretty much a very simple process for Davinia. We didn't really fall into a lot of issues, which was obviously lovely. Her body was very, very responsive to the training and the nutrition plan. So in 15 weeks, we went down 5 kilos. Now, for some people, 5 kilos might be a lot. For some people, 5 kilos think, oh, that's actually not a lot. Now, Davinia, she is 4'9". She's a very little girl, bless her. She's very short. So 5 kilos on her body frame, as you can see from these photos, is visually crazy. Obviously, because she wanted to grow some glutes, with lower body focus was the main thing, and educating around her compound movements and accessory movements as well, just making sure that she felt supported and confident. We did start off with some PT sessions, so she's having like twice a month come and see me. We'd run through training, make sure that she was training effectively, safely, and with enough volume. And then she also sent me weekly training videos for her form analysis for those sessions that obviously I wasn't able to be with her with. Okay, we then obviously did weekly cardio. So she started off, I think, on 3 lots of 20 minutes, nothing too crazy, and then like a daily step count of like 10k, which some days she was very good at because she was obviously working on the floor as a shop girl, and she was getting lots of steps in, whereas when she was doing her beautician shifts, she wasn't doing as many because she was sitting down at a table doing nails or facials or whatever it might be. So we had to kind of make sure that her weekly average was there. Some days she would get a lot more, and some days she would get a lot less. And we managed to make sure that over that period of time, she was getting enough activity in as a whole, rather than focusing on those days that she couldn't get up and be as active, and also not fixating on that and trying to drive in and say, right, well, you've got to stay up till 9 o'clock at night doing steps. When reality is, on a Saturday, she's going to get 15, 20k steps from just an evening because she's constantly running around and serving people. So we had to make sure that that fitted around her lifestyle. And it worked really, really well, clearly. With her nutrition, so we started her on a 2-week maintenance just to kind of gain a baseline about how her body was going to react to certain foods. We took out a lot of kind of processed foods from her diet, things that basically were making her gut a little bit unhealthy, but we didn't need to remove dairy, we didn't need to remove gluten. You know, actually, her body was very responsive to a pretty standard diet, but also she allowed herself, even through this diet phase, to enjoy herself. So she still was able to have foods that she still enjoyed. She still had her chocolate. She still had a bit of Biscoff on her crumpets, if I remember rightly. I mean, this was a long time ago, but if I looked back, you know, there was plenty of variety in her diet. And all we did was basically incrementally remove her carbs and some fats at the same time. Not too many though. She still was eating really, really well at the end of her diet phase. Only towards, I think, the last week did she say to me, yeah, I'm feeling a little bit hungry. She actually found at the start of this diet phase that actually it was quite a lot of food, because obviously we were trying to prioritise whole foods, so using kind of main protein sources, so things like chicken and beef and turkey, and make sure we were having enough kind of nutrients in her food, so from fruits and vegetables. So she actually found at the start, I remember her saying this to me and texting me and saying, this is a lot of food, like I'm actually struggling to get this in, and it's only like 1800 calories. So there is a way of doing it to make it more sustainable, but she was still able to enjoy the foods that she wanted. Okay. Then what we did after that amazing diet phase, we took her then into a 35-week growth phase. So this was a very long, incremental growth phase. We didn't want to chuck loads of weight on her. Also, she's a very, very small frame, so we're not going to be putting on 12-15 kilos because it's just not optimal. So in those 35 weeks, we did put on 7 kilos. So we actually put on more weight than we had previously taken off. So when she was looking at the scale weight, she was saying to me, wow, Hannah, the scales are really jumping up, and I understand that's important, but you know, I'm actually getting bigger than I was previously. So I had to educate and speak to her about how this was actually a good thing, because obviously she was gaining muscle mass. And when I go into my next slide, you'll see what I mean. So obviously during this period, we were still focusing on like lower body focus, because she really wanted to like grow within her glutes. And you can see from these pictures how she's filling out the same pair of shorts a lot more. This girl has grown some glutes, that's all I'm going to say. We're focusing on obviously progressive overload, increasing her weights within her rep ranges over a set period of time, and she was hitting PBs pretty much every week. She was doing absolutely insane. She still is doing absolutely insane, but this speaks for itself. The shorts, that's what's I think blowing me out the most, to be fair, in these pictures, but there we go. So we were still obviously having cardio and steps in her routine. We wanted to make sure that we were still looking after from a health perspective, still having enough activity, but it wasn't necessarily the main focus. However, this girl ticks off every single thing on the list every single week. Never any complaints whatsoever. She just asks questions when she needs to ask them, but generally, like, she smashes it. Like, this girl just takes a plan and gets on with it, which is amazing as a coach, because she just puts her full trust in me, which has been awesome. So still obviously sending me weekly training videos for form analysis, making sure that we're still training effectively, and obviously safely, etc. And then just asking me any questions, like I said, as and when those videos come out. Within this phase, we basically did the opposite to the dietary phase. So we still started with a 2 weeks of maintenance before going into the growth, and then basically incrementally increased her carbs and fats back up. And we did have to make a few kind of like source changes just to make it a bit easier, because Davinia did find that when the food got higher, it was harder for her to eat, just because of the volume of food. So we did swap some things out which were slightly more calorie dense towards the end, just to make sure we're getting in food, but while still keeping her gut in a good place. Now, the results. So this is a completely perfect prime example of body recomposition. So the photo on your left is the photo that we first took. The photo on your right is the end of her growth phase, and she's actually 2 kilos heavier in the right photo than she is in the left. So what we've basically done here is we've removed the body fat, the additional body fat that she had. We've then taken her into a muscle growth phase where she's basically built that space back out again, but also still keeping her in a well-managed body composition. So body recomposition does take time. I mean, Davinia on the whole, I think she's been with me for at least a year, because she was working with me before this. More from an educational standpoint, we just started with PT, and then she was like, right, I actually want to make some progress here. So body recomposition, yes, it takes time, but yes, it is so worth it. And what Davinia has shown in her kind of dedication to this process is she's just found a love for the lifestyle. She's found that she feels healthier, her skin's improved, she's feeling more energized, she gets better sleep, she's feeling more hydrated. Like, all of those added additional things are so important to see results. And ultimately, she said, I feel more productive. She's able to manage 2 pretty much almost full-time jobs, which have completely different timescales, whilst still moving towards her goals. She is a prime example of a client who puts their full trust in their coach, aka me, and she has 100% reaped the results. So for Davinia, from moving forwards now, she's currently in another diet phase. So we are moving her now up until the end of April, and she's going to be part of my photo shoot, which is going to be launched in a couple of days. So we still have spaces on that, by the way, if you're still watching this at the time that it's posted. So the idea with this one is obviously to now showcase the muscle growth that she has made. She's already decided that after that diet phase, if we want to take it a bit further, then we will. If not, we will then go straight back into another growth phase, and then we can start to eat more food, build more muscle. She by far is such an amazing client, and I cannot applaud her enough and thank her for the hard work that she has put in, because she is absolutely amazing, and the results really do speak for themselves. She feels so much more confident, and even in the competition she is now, at the highest weight she's ever been, she feels the most confident she has been. And by the time we get to the photo shoot, the results are going to be amazing. And she is still showcasing her hard work within her training and her meal prep even now. It's just become a part of her routine, and she's reaping the rewards of it. And to the point where actually she's going on holiday this month. She said, I can't wait to put a bikini on because I feel so confident, so amazing, which I think is awesome. Really, really, really happy for Davinia. So if you're looking for results like Davinia, if you want to go through a body recomposition and kind of understand what that would look like for you, then by all means, pop me a message on Instagram or through YouTube, fill out my inquiry form, and we can book in a call and have a chat. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've enjoyed watching Davinia's journey and how amazing she has done. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you in my next video.